I love the sound of this.
Welcome to the 5th episode of the Scotch podcast. Today I'm joined by some of the girls of the first 18 football team who have defended their crown as state champions for the second time in a row. I've got Poppy, I've got Sienna, and I've got Sophie Martens, the greatest captain the school's ever seen. Welcome aboard and welcome to the laboratory.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Awesome. So what's the feelings like when you enter the laboratory here?
It's a pretty great setup you've got going on here.
I'm really blown away.
Blown away.
It feels very professional.
Yeah.
And if we go back 2 days to when the state championship match was, how were we feeling when we ran out onto Febberton Oval down the race? What were the feelings there?
I've got no idea.
No idea.
Nervous. All the
Nervous?
feelings, you know.
Nervous, mixed emotions.
I think everyone had very high expectations,
High
of ourselves.
expectations.
Just following our victory last year.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, thank you.
And why do we play football?
I'll start. I play football because I just really love the contact. And I just love, just really, you kind of can get your aggression out there on the football field. And just the great supportive girls that I've got staying next to me. So when I run out, going on to play against St. Michael's, I was really I knew I had the support from my team.
Yeah, definitely. I
Sienna-
have to agree.
Sophie, continue.
No, you speak.
Oh, I was just going to agree with Poppy. I love the culture. The team is so good this year.
And
So
that's
much
great.
fun.
That's great. We'll come back to that. Sienna, what would you say? Why do you play football?
It's a bit of an anger outlet, I guess you could
An
put
anger
it.
outlet.
Felt pretty good letting it out on the St. Michael's girls, so, that's the way to put it.
When we go back to this supporting and this
R.I.P.
culture, this network,
Fantastic. Yeah.
what makes a good culture? What makes a good culture, Sienna?
Just the way we all get around each other,
And do we have some examples of how we get around each other?
So if you make a mistake on the field, it's okay. You follow it up with second efforts and everyone gets around you and all is well.
And what are some of those actions about how people can get around you?
Just a well
A
done.
tap on the back,
Yeah.
a well done, positive talk.
Yeah.
Just real positive affirmations, I think. And I think lots of our culture stemmed from the Footy Trip.
Definitely.
I think we kind of got quite vulnerable with each other. And so we saw a side that we haven't seen previously. I think that's just really shaped the way that we play now and has really just bonded us together.
What were some of the activities that were done over this football trip to be able to develop this culture, to experience the feelings of vulnerability that
maybe
brings the
explain?
team together?
Yeah, Sophie, just pass the mic on to you.
Yeah, no worries. Like Poppy said, we get pretty vulnerable. We do the Triple H, just hero, highlight and hardship.
That was real
Lots
emotional.
of tears are shed. Let's just say no one exited the room dry-eyed. It was pretty sad, but look, it was good. Yeah, and like Poppy said, I think we've played better since doing it.
So when we get to Tuesday and you're playing in that match and you've gone through the whole year, from Wednesday trainings to Monday trainings to Friday matches to recovery to just getting around each other every single day, what's the feeling like knowing that this is the last time Sienna and Sophie as year 12s that you'll be running out there?
Look, I have to say, Sophie made a little speech after we collected our medals, and Year 12's got a bit teary, you could put it. Yeah, it was quite sad actually.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be hard after playing for 3 years in the same team with some of the same people, and you're just saying goodbye to that. It's definitely been my highlight of school, and I feel like it's going to be just it'll be great if we win, because obviously our last game will be the grand final against Seymour.
Of the XVIII.
Yeah. So.
And playing with each other for 3 years, obviously you develop relationships and you develop, not only just your football skills, but support and this framework that drives culture. And we've sort of talked about that. But what's an specific example of where you've been supported in a way where you didn't think you'd be necessarily supported? Is there a moment that comes to mind? Maybe you made a mistake and then someone ran up behind you and said something. Is there anything that sort of sticks with you?
I could say on Tuesday I got held the ball in, got holding the ball, and it was a bit of a grim moment for me. And after that quarter, Poppy came up to me and was like, "You're playing amazing. Don't worry about it." And it just lifted my spirits.
Yeah, Sienna's sitting there no, I've lost the game.
Wanted
for
to
you all.
jump off something personally, but everyone lifted my spirits, so I wasn't as dramatic after that.
Exactly. It's not not one person's fault, and we won.
We won anyway.
We won.
Thankfully.
So
And what are the effects, Sienna? Say if you didn't have Poppy that ran up to you and, gave you that positive affirmation and said you're doing great, like keep going, and made you feel that little bit better. What would have happened for the rest of the day if, say, no one went up to you? Or instead, on the other side, if Poppy ran up to you and said, come on, Sienna, you got to do better, this isn't good enough, you're going to cost us the game. What do we think the effects of that would have been?
I definitely would have played worse. I would have gotten in my own head, going into a spiral of, I'm playing bad, and if you keep that attitude, you're going to keep playing bad. So Poppy coming up to me made me play really good in the fourth quarter, I reckon. So.
And Poppy, what would you say, playing football, what is the most important aspect of football?
I really think that the most important part of like anyone's football career or their like experience is the team, and I think that comes a lot from like the coaching staff, but then also from the leadership group, and that then stems down to like all the other people that are kind of supporting those. So like it's not just one person that like creates a culture; it's everyone. It's everyone putting in their little bit. But I think like just having like that a reason to play for each other, I guess, because like especially after that Triple H, we all had a reason to kind of get around each other, help each other, because we all had bonded on that other level that you don't get when you just play football.
Sophie, would you say there's anything to add to that? The one
I feel like, in the girls program, I think we're really lucky because the boys don't really have that as such. Like, it's really hard for them to like break down those barriers and kind of get to know each other on a different like level. Like, I feel like I've built friendships that I'm closer with year 10s and 11s than I am with some people in my own year level because of football. And I feel like that you don't get that from a lot of other sports in school. Like, tennis is very individual, it can be. The boys' football, they don't do like as many activities together. Like, I feel like there's sort of this stigma around like they kind of have to act tough and like whatever. But I feel like through doing that activity, we've broken down something, and like Poppy said, we have a reason to play for each other.
And can I just add something? When you're so close with the people in your team, the closer you are, the more you want to like protect them and help them out on the field. Like, if I care more about my players, I'm going to go more out of my way to like help protect them and help them out on the field, I guess.
So would you say that over, say, the last 3 to 4 years, the win-loss record for the girls is about 90 to 92%, we've only dropped one match in the last 2.5 years. Would you say that is a major factor due to the vulnerability that's been shared, the culture that's been created, the purpose of then playing for this cause to try to win, but to try to support your other teammates as well, and these overarching factors have obviously contributed to winning on the side because it started from vulnerability, culture, and that culture of supporting others, helping each other out, and that culture drives people to training. More people want to train, they get around each other, even when they're not training, they're getting around each other, and then that goes onto the field on a Friday or a Tuesday for grand finals or whatever, and then we're able to win matches. Because Poppy, for you, Sienna, when you've made a mistake, Poppy will get around you. As in another program or another team, they might say the other thing and put you down or not say anything at all, and then you'll play worse. And then after half-time, you're going to drop off and actually cost the team more goals. So would we say that the success of this massive win-loss record, the one loss in the last 2.5 years, would be a major factor to the culture?
Definitely. Well, it's evident. Like, before we went away to Melbourne, we played Emmanuel and we lost. Yeah, that was a really, like, it wasn't actually a tough game. I think it was because none of us had shared enough experiences, getting to know each other. And, like, obviously there was a lot of year 10s in the team who were new. Like, we hadn't really built those friendships yet. And, like, immediately after we did the session and then played, the game was the next day.
Yeah.
You could see how much we wanted it. We were playing for each other and we wanted it more. We didn't win, but then we came back to Adelaide and we've won all of our games since. And I think it's definitely shown, like, that doing something like that builds, like, a good culture within your team and you're playing for something and not, like, you're playing for a purpose.
And Sophie, as a leader of this team, is it tough when you've got year 12s from last year and they leave and then you've got to fill those spots with, say, year 10s or year 11s or people from the 2s coming up? Would you say it's a tough aspect of a leader to try to recreate sort of culture? Because when you lose people and you get new ones, you're losing key elements of a group.
Yeah, like, I think a few of us went into it thinking, we've lost some of our best year 12s, some of them who brought, like, the fun and, like, the funniness and kind of, brought up I don't know what the word is, but...
Maria?
Yeah, of the team. but you don't realise that when you become older, you become those people for the younger kids. And I feel like we have not struggled with that at all. Like the year 10s we have are just as talented as some of our year 12s who played last year. And we're so lucky to have that sort of like depth within our team where you have faith in all the different players. Like there's not a single person that you'd be like, oh, like I wish they weren't playing, they're not good. Like we're so lucky in that sense. So honestly, not really. Like all teams, all years are different, but I think this year it's been like great. It's been one of the best so far.
And would you say, and we'll finish up on this, do you think it's an essential part of a team as a leader to be able to be inclusive to your younger year levels so they feel comfort and the support of other teams? Because I know from other sports that I've played, when I've been 2, 3, 4 years younger than my other teammates, sometimes you feel a little bit out of the group.
Yeah.
So you feel like that's a contributing factor of creating this environment and this environment of support and this culture where people want to go out of their way to help the team?
No, definitely. I think a lot of us are friends with the year 10s now, and like definitely through school and house. Like I know with Roxy and Maya, like I've become closer with them, and they're both in year 10 and 11. And through sport, like we've developed our friendship, and yeah, they've easily been adopted into the team. Like we love our year 10s. We're so lucky.
100%. And they're also really talented at football as well.
I think
They're
it's like,
they're not seen as anything less because they're in year 10. Like, not at all.
it's like important to kind of bring them up in that culture that we've got going this year and what we had last year as well, because that's got to be them next year and the year after that. Like, because we kind of want that to kind of carry over and not just leave when we're like the first people that kind of started school footy leave as well.
Yeah.
Well summarised. So I think that's about time. So we're going to finish there, but I'd like to thank you all for coming on the show, Poppy, Sienna and Sophie. We've got to explore the world of teams, of culture, and what makes a good culture. And I feel like, what would you say, Sophie, makes a good culture? We've probably talked about support, probably feel about comfort, and probably vulnerability. Is there anything else, do you reckon?
I reckon that summarises it.
That summarises.
Very well.
And maybe being able to have fun
having
outside
fun.
of it being serious. Like there's times where you're being serious, but being able to let go of that sometimes and have fun.
Yeah, honestly, just being yourself.
Awesome. That's enough of the Scotch podcast for
Thank
episode
you,
5.
Seb.
I'd like to thank you all for coming on board. Congratulations
Really enjoyed.
on your state title and good luck defending your XVIII Premiership.
Thank you, Seb.
Thank you.
Pretty kind.
I hope